Beautiful, isn't it? Welcome to Lake Powell, my home, where I grew up, and my favorite place in the world. I could probably see every inch of the world, and I would still have a special love for Lake Powell here. And this video, I will not be putting any tags or promoting it in any way. This video is strictly for those who come here to watch and to view and to see what I have to share. So the title of this video is Onewheel Was My Therapy, and I hope that, you know, the was isn't gonna be too long or too permanent. When I first found out about the Onewheel, it was back when they had their first Onewheel on Kickstarter and the funding projects that they had, and for the CES show. That's when I first found out about it. And I had also been looking at electronic skateboards, especially ones that could go all terrain. And my biggest reason for looking at boards like that was wakeboarding was something that I really loved. The feeling of flying and floating on the water and carving, and the sounds of the water and the lake and the scenery, just combining all of those feelings and loves into one place was the best thing in the world to me. And as life got busier, as I've gotten older and more responsibilities, the time to go wakeboarding was diminished. You know, to go on a boat, to go wakeboarding, you have to prep the boat, you have to drive the boat to the marina, and you have to put the boat in the water, you have to park the trailer, you have to drive out to a smooth spot past the wakeless zone, and then you get to wakeboard. And then you have to have the time to do all of that in reverse. And you have to have the time for 2 other people, because it takes 3 to ski, as you know. That's the common saying, takes 3 to ski. You have to have the driver, the observer, and the wakeboarder. And, you know, hopefully all 3 of those people want to wakeboard, want to ski, so you can build off of the stoke and the enjoyment that you all have. So, you know, you gotta have a minimum of 3 hours of time to go wakeboarding once on the water. And to find 2 other people with that same chunk of time was becoming more and more difficult. So I needed something to supplement wakeboarding, and electric skateboards sounded like the best ticket. And the Onewheel just seemed to make more sense. The way it turned and carved in my mind seemed more reminiscent of the feelings of wakeboarding. The large wheel being in the center seemed like it could tackle terrain better than anything. And when I first got to ride it at a local shop, interestingly enough, in my small town of Page here, there was a shop that was carrying them. Never thought it would happen. And the first time I got on it, even though I was wobbly, I knew right away that I had decided that the Onewheel was the board to get. That, you know, the four-wheeled ones, I wasn't even going to try them. The one wheel was it. And I'd been saving money from the moment I saw it up to that point, and that's when the One Wheel Plus was announced. So then I decided, you know, I might as well just get the Plus. And so I got the Plus. And, you know, it took a long time to save up for that and get that. And I had so much pride in it, so much love for it. And my life got even busier over the last 2 years. I had twins born on January this year. And so the time to go wakeboarding is diminished even more as I've gotten busier and busier. And wakeboarding and one-wheeling, you know, I can even one-wheel on the beach, Lone Rock Beach. I have a video, not wakeboarding, takes me back to wakeboarding though, riding the one-wheel on Lone Rock Beach. So it's been a huge therapy for me to be able to ride my one-wheel. I can go whenever I want, regardless of the weather, regardless of the temperature outside. I don't need 2 other people, but you know, it's always more fun with more people. And so for the last 2+ years, I've been going by myself. A couple of times I've gone with some other people who skateboard, and that's been a lot of fun. But as you've probably witnessed yourself, felt yourself, or heard from other people, there's just a different feeling you get when you're doing the same activity with people, sharing in the same feelings and experiences versus similar experiences, whether you're one-wheeling with someone who skateboards or one-wheeling with someone who can go on these mountain biking trails. It's you don't have the same exact connection. It's still fun, but it's not quite the same connection. So I've really been looking forward to ride with another one-wheeler, and I live so remote that for the first year of my one-wheel, if you went into the app to look at nearby riders, I would have to stretch the mileage range all the way to the end just to even pick up another one-wheeler. So the closest one-wheeler for the first year was over 100 miles away, and there's only like maybe 3 of them. And now today I can open up the app and immediately the page is filled. There's one other person here that I've confirmed that has a one-wheel, and there's a 3rd person, but I don't think they're active. And everyone else is close to 100 miles away. So my video before this one was about my one-wheel dying. I took a lot of time and effort to enhance and to ensure the life and the range of my board by putting a waterproof kit in it, a kit to extend the range, because I was really wanting more therapy time. more therapy time. But everything that I've done to my board has had the exact opposite effect. The board has had issues ever since I modified it. It's just been a horrible case of bad luck and bad irony and bad coincidences. And, you know, last night I put in a new controller that I was lucky enough to find. You know, it's hard. Uh, I thought I was just a really hard thing for me. You know, the controller was definitely a good controller, but yeah, it didn't turn on. No blue light. Connected to the charger, it turns on. The charger can be a source of power for the brain, for the control box of the Onewheel. And it was stuck at 0% green light on the box of the charger. So there's something additionally wrong with the Onewheel besides the brain frying. So there's something wrong at the connector at the end of the cable of the battery box. In the battery box, the batteries themselves. I don't know, somewhere there's an additional problem with that's battery related, or the connectors of the cables. And the amount of time and effort and money that I've tried to revive and enhance and prolong and secure the life of my Onewheel is just all gone up in flames, and literally in some cases the flames inside the control box, an electric fire. Just everything's gone completely wrong. And every moment that I would have liked to take out the Onewheel, it's just really gets me down. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I need to have my therapy back, you know. I need to have some kind of form of release to get out there, and so I'm hoping to send it in to get it repaired. I hope that it can come back working again, but I fear that the amount of time and resources that I'm going to spend doing so the value is going to be so much more than buying a new one, especially with the time that I've put in. The time, the efforts, the resources. Originally, I thought it was only going to be, you know, a couple of $100 worth, but it's been so much more. It's super depressing. So, you know, thank you for listening, watching this vlog, watching the videos I've made this far. I've made 20, 30 or more videos that are Onewheel related. I know there's some that originally started watching my channel for like my litter box, for example. So if you're one of those cat lovers and you've watched this far, yeah, that's awesome. Thanks. That shows that you're here to watch more than just cats. And I hope you've enjoyed the scenery, even though the camera hasn't moved. So yeah, the Ranger, the waterproofing, the trying to add more stabilization to the motherboard. And when my Onewheel died, I was actually on my way to meet the one and only confirmed one-wheeler in town. So I literally had contacted him and was on my way to meet him and to have my first ride, and my board died. Just like the most exciting moment when I finally had everything working on my board, and I felt like there wasn't going to be any problems, and it dies. I also ordered the Onewheel pint. Definitely splurging on that in hopes that my kids would join me. Up until now, my kids have only ridden on the board with me while I'm holding their hands, and the pint being smaller and the special stop features seem like a really good board for them to learn on, that I could feel confident taking them side by side with me on, and I would have someone to share the stoke with at just about any moment, because their schedule, would closely align with my schedule. And when I convinced my kids to get the pint, I bought it kind of late, so I'm gonna have to wait longer for that. And who knows, that might end up being my only Onewheel in the house. Going forward, I don't know what's gonna happen here, if I'm gonna be able to get my Onewheel back, or if I'm gonna have to save up for getting a full-size one later. Maybe there'll be an additional model of a Onewheel by the time I get another one, if I can't get this one repaired. So I might be down to just one wheel again. But after much emotions and depression and having a hard time going to sleep last night, I decided to check the status of the pint on the order, and there wasn't a calendar date anymore. It says it's on hold and to contact the company. So even after my Onewheel dies, I'm still not getting any good news. I'm not getting any good news here. I don't know what that means. That was late last night, and it's about 8:30 in the morning. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I have anything else to say. The Onewheel it's been a really great therapy for me so far. As much as I enjoy it, and as much as it's a relief, and as easy as it should be to get out and ride and go, I'm a little bit of a workaholic, getting things done at home, and I don't always give myself permission to go out and ride. So even though I've had it for over 2 years, I only rode about 600 miles. But you know what? Those 600 miles, they were worth it. So I need to get some therapy again, and until then I'll just need to try to continue to make some videos because that's been enjoyable, despite that I wish I could get a few more people to watch. Having people watch and comment and subscribe, you know, has kind of helped me feel not so middle of nowhere, even though it's a beautiful nowhere. That's my favorite thing to say, that this is the middle of nowhere, but it's a beautiful nowhere, and I tell people that all the time. And so just being around Lake Powell and looking at the scenery, the sunset, sunrise, whatever beauty, light, shadow, stone, and nature, creations of God all around me, that is great therapy too. I'll see you next time, and hopefully that next time is not too far away. So just, I don't know, one last thought was, and it may have been kind of expressed before, every time I feel like there's an end in sight to my bad luck, something else comes up. So I'm extremely worried that this is not the end to my bad luck. It just keeps coming. Every sign of relief ends up turning into bad luck. So even if the whole battery is replaced, you know, maybe there's something wrong with the motor too. I'm hoping that sending it to future motion, excuse me, will not be too expensive. I might be sending it to them just to throw in the trash, or to break apart for parts, I don't know. We will see. I was originally going to send it in after I found out that the control module was fried, but then I found another option for a control module from someone who had some additional parts. So it was a new part. I fully believe it was reliable and new and nothing wrong with it. But before that, talking with Maddie at Future Motion, she was really helpful and considerate and sympathetic, and seemed like they were really quick to respond, and so I hope that those feelings and quickness and it continues to be what it feels like. I know I've read a few bad things about customer service, and it seems like every company, every product out there, people are always more willing to share the bad than the good, but the little experiences that I've had with their customer service, which has mainly only been communication so far, has all been good. There's only been one time in the past where my board had like a low battery shutdown, even though it was at like 70% going down a small hill, and I sent a diagnostics report but never got any response back. So that's really the only experience that I've had that would be on the negative side. Everything else has been good so far. Speaking of customer service, I had great customer service from Landsurf. They're the company that makes the Ranger mount for adding an Ego battery to extend the range of the Onewheel V1 and the Onewheel Plus. I had a rare issue with my Ranger mount, and everything was replaced quickly from Landsurf. And so everything just kind of started with that one moment, continuing with other events and bad luck with other issues in other places, leading to where I am now. Hopefully things will be on the up and up from here, and we'll no longer be on a downhill roller coaster ride of bad luck. Hopefully this roller coaster starts going up from here. See you next time. For sure. This time I'm out.